Good afternoon and welcome to Talk on the Block for today. It's Friday, it's the 26th in the month of June 2026. My name, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, sitting in for Matt Peltier. So let me say a very precious good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us for another exciting time here on Talk on the Block. If it's happening on the block, we're talking about it right here on the big station Q95. So stay with us, stay tuned. An exciting program lined up for you. But I'm sure you're aware as we move along here this afternoon what's going on in Venezuela. A massive, actually a double whammy, so it's called, with two earthquakes in less than a minute. Really caused quite a bit of devastation in Venezuela. The rescue efforts are ongoing there. And we are going to be bringing you a little update on that even as we begin this afternoon Talk on the Block. Of course, Venezuela has been extremely good to Dominica going back many years. We have the housing development, Simon Bolivar housing development up there in Stock Farm, and they've really given us through Petrocaribe and so on. So we are really gracious and thankful to our Venezuelan friends and, for really, over the years, looking out for us here in Dominica. Now they are certainly in a time of need and serious need, and countries across the world are responding. They are going there to reach out to them. So we're going to just give you a quick update on the Venezuela situation right now.
There's so many families that are just hoping simply for miracles at this point in Venezuela as the death toll rises from the powerful back-to-back earthquakes that struck that country. At least 235 people have been killed. That's the death toll so far. More than 4,000 injured. They really don't have a clear read on just how many people may still be trapped in the rubble. Time, though, is, of course, as we know, not on their side. It has been some 37 hours since the back-to-back earthquakes hit. Rescuers are racing against what they consider a golden window, if you will, the 48 to 72 hours after a disaster like this, when the odds of survival remain best. There are new images coming in from the moment the earthquake struck. This is from inside an airplane full of passengers, and you can see just how violently it's shaking as it sat on the tarmac at Venezuela's main airport. And there's also video of cable cars beginning to sway inside the station in the mountains above Caracas. The American tourist who filmed this says that he feels like he just narrowly escaped being trapped.
I was actually next up to board the cable car. I was recording myself going into the cable car, and all of a sudden, like, the building started shaking and the floor started moving, and then mass panic. Like, everyone that was in line inside the building, we were all running for the one exit.
My goodness. CNN's Stefano Pozzebon has the very latest, joins us this morning. Stefano, what's the very latest that you're hearing about the efforts now?
Well, good morning, Kate. The latest from the ground in Caracas is that finally international aid, international relief is starting to trickle down into Venezuela. Last night at around 9 p.m. local time, the Dominicans were the first mission to arrive. Then overnight, we saw images of a U.S. Major Marine General on the ground in Caracas to coordinate how the United States can help. Of course, we know that there are two ships coming down from Florida towards the coast of Caracas, as well as Hercules C-130 and other personnel that is ready to be deployed to Venezuela to try bring as much relief as possible. And the President, Donald Trump, did tweet about it when, for example, he reacted to the news saying that the United States are, and I'm quoting him, ready to help their new and good friends. It was a reference, Kate, to the new leadership in Venezuela that is ruling the country after the ousting of Nicolas Maduro, and that means the acting president, Delcy Rodriguez. The Colombians have also arrived there. We saw an image, Kate, overnight of the tarmac in Caracas airport that was cracked open by the strength of the power of the tremors that hit that part of Venezuela. And you can see the difficulty looking at the photo. You can understand why it's been so hard for aid to trickle in. But today is when we're going to start and seeing many more international aid missions arriving in Caracas and trying to help. And really now it starts the race against time. The window, the golden window to find as many survivors as possible is closing down. And of course, that means that the anguish of the families who are still there trying to locate the loved one will rise and rise as the hours go by.
Welcome back to Talk on the Block. So we just ask you to remember Venezuela in the prayers, of course. The country in dire need. They expect the death toll to rise much more than the 500 figure reported. Bodies are being discovered, and the devastation in some places is almost complete. Whole skyscrapers toppled to the ground, buildings tossed here and there, and it's just a real catastrophe there in Venezuela on two powerful earthquakes. And we hope that they're able to recover. It's a time of national grief and mourning in that country. So let's remember them in our prayers. We have a wonderful program, as I said, lined up for you. Still waiting to do a couple of things there. But here's what we're going to do right now. We're going to take a quick break for a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with a lot more for you today on Talk on the Block.
We are in the hurricane season. Stay informed by tuning in to Q95 FM radio for updates on the storm's path and any evacuation orders. Knowledge is power during a hurricane.
Fuel your farm with premium animal feeds at Blue Box. We're excited to announce a major expansion to our lineup. Blue Box Farm and Garden Center is now your go-to supplier for high-quality animal feed. From poultry to livestock, we provide the specialized nutrition your animal needs to thrive. Our feed portfolio includes poultry solutions, swine care, small pet and livestock. Visit Blue Box in Roseau on the corner of Hanover Street and Drury Lane, or Blue Box Goodwill, 66 Federation Drive, Goodwill. Let's bloom together.
I have a surprise from mosquito road and flies. Pop makes all of them die. Don't bother with the long chat, Pop tell you why. Pop makes all of them die.
Times are hard, but you've got to include Pop on your grocery list to protect you and your family against all flying and crawling insects, especially dengue mosquitoes. Pop's powerful formula kills insects fast. Pop is best on pests.
Pop makes all of them die.
Get serious, get back.
Pop, 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 make all of them die.
God, here's a winner! Win an unforgettable experience during the FIFA World Cup games and win with Coca-Cola. Here's how you can enter. Uncap a 591 ml Coke Original Taste or Coke Zero Sugar with the football label. Find the unit code under the cap. Send that code via WhatsApp to 265-5792 or scan the QR code in stores. It's that easy. One entry can make you win one of 5 flat-screen smart TVs during the FIFA World Cup game or win FIFA merchandise instantly with over 1,500 prizes to be won. For more details, follow Josephine Gabriel Facebook page. Score with Coca-Cola and win!
Madam Boboy Madi, Laupali, Idikote Rice and Company. Here the Rice and Company, the only company I know with rice was cooking butter and back and neck. Now with the last valley short, I said Bryce. In the old plus nefla where you have a roofing material and seamless guttering. Yes, 24 gauge governors, all colors. Ever open Nipu gas peel agent, they program the computer to give you the exact size you want. And the seamless guttering aluminum that can better withstand the elements you have in an easy way. So no leaking after a while. And so much more. Bryce and Company, the by 8 bank close to the old mill at Enfield. Telephone 617-2468.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We're ready.
We are ready. Digicel, we are ready to see big matches and big moments. Watch the World Cup live on Digital Plus TV. The front row seat to every match, every moment. Digital Plus TV, bringing you closer to the game you love.
Great things happen when we crunch together. So crunch and share the love with KFC's bucket together. $45 gets you 6 pieces of chicken, 2 fries, 1 corn, 1 biscuit. With KFC, there's always chances to win big. 3 winners, 3 destinations for an all-expense-paid trip with Sunrise Airways, St. Martin Carnival, St. Kitts Music Festival, and Lucian Carnival. $1,500 spent in cash, hotel accommodation, event tickets, and ground transportation. All you have to do is purchase a bucket together. Write your name and phone number at the back of your receipt and drop it in the drop box. KFC's finger licking good.
I wanna drink Dominica, that's rum with you. I wanna drink, baby. Dominica, that's rum with you. Get the body, drink it every day. Give me energy. Alright, my body. Get the body, drink it every day. Give me energy. Time today, we wake up. Okay, my body. My knee, ready, full energy. My body, my knee, ready, full energy. Okay, boom.
Distributed by Belfast Estate Limited. Drink it, but don't abuse it. Okay, boom.
Welcome back to Talk on the Block. We are going to just be opening up the lines to you for a few minutes. There may be something you've had in your mind all week long and you've not heard it expressed on the radio. So that's an opportunity to call in and just tell us what's on your mind this afternoon. All right. But in the meantime, let me just say that the latest list out, the Electoral Office of Dominica has just released the latest update on the National Electors List. And they're showing some improvement they're showing that the number of approved confirmations is now at 17,332. So 17,332 is the number of approved confirmations. And during that time, they had 1,174 new approvals. And they're indicating that the total number of applications is about 19,060. So most of the applications for confirmation has been approved. Okay, so out of the 19,060 of persons who have applied, they've now approved 17,332. So again, persons encouraged to go out there and to get confirmed. Okay, it's very important that you do so. If you're not confirmed, you will not be able to participate in the elections, in the next elections, and elections held after October of this year. October is when the year expires, so you do not have as much time as you think. I know a number of persons are saying, well, we have time, it's a whole year. But guess what? We're already almost in July, and after that, it's just 3 months to go. So we would encourage you to make use of this opportunity to go out there and to get confirmed. So that is some improvement there. So we are seeing that they're actually doing a better job now of making that process go along, and that I think is very, very important. So some news there, and of course the list is posted on the website of the electoral office, so you can go in there to check, make sure that your name is on that list. That's very important. So let's go to the telephones and take this caller. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon. You know what I would like to know? Based on the last list of persons who voted, whether 17,000 for that party and 16,000, what is the percentage of people that have now been reconfirmed? And that should tell us whether most of the others come from the diaspora or something.
Okay, so you're saying that, but the problem is, unless it has to be done basically by through persons going through each of the constituencies individually to get that kind of information, because persons will have a sense as to who is there on the ground locally or not. So I think, that kind of information, probably you can get it, but it would have to be done on a constituency by constituency basis, because now they're just releasing the numbers, of course, by the various constituencies, and that is in fact available on the Commission's website. All right, so we are talking about a great increase in numbers, but you would recall that in the last election, over 30, I think there's 35,000 persons who voted in the 2019 elections. So that means we have some ways to go, but roughly half of the persons who took part in the elections in 2019, we are roughly halfway. So that is an important development there. But certainly something to watch very closely. And again, we encourage persons to go out there and to make sure that your name is on the confirmed list. Now that practically everyone who has confirmed, who has applied for confirmation, is on the confirmation list, you should now go to that list and ensure that your name, that's very important, your name now appears on this particular list. So it is a good improvement, as we can see. But certainly something that we have to keep looking at very, very, very closely. So the list is for some reason has not yet been posted on the site, but the electoral office is reporting that it is now available. So we can expect this list to show up anytime now on the website of the electoral office. Okay. All right. So we are here. We're doing Talk on the Block. We're expecting a couple of guests to join us shortly. But I can tell you, if you want to just raise any issue, we are here. It's 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. And of course, if you're calling on the overseas line, its number to call is 305-432-9999. 9624. In the meantime, we're encouraging persons to go up there and register. Let's go to the telephones. Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk on the Block.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Fountain. And how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well.
Are
Thank
you
you.
okay?
Yes, doing well.
All right.
Thank you.
Dr. Fountain, I have two concerns about this confirmation thing. The first one is this, that, okay, when the lady gives the numbers, she always says a certain number is confirmed, apply for confirmation, and a certain, out of that number, a certain is confirmed. But I heard that something I was saying that there are some people they can't get confirmed because there are errors. Now you have to find out what do they do when they find the errors. How do they get back to those people so that the people can come and fix up the errors? That's one. When are they going to start giving people their cards? Right? Your ID card. You're not hearing anything about it now, you know. You're just hearing about confirmation. You're not hearing anything about the card. So you need to find out about these two things, you know. Have a nice day, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. In fact, the last time the Electoral Office spoke about the identification cards, they indicated that it should be available sometime in July. So that's basically next month. The expectations is that the first set of identification of voter identification cards should be available. All right. So that is something certainly to look forward to. With respect to the errors, I think that's an excellent question. It's something we will raise with the Electoral Office. When they find those errors, what happens? How do they get back to it? All right. So that is where we are, and we will be right back in a little bit. This is Talk on the Block.
Motor Trade introduces our newest line of lubricants, Valvoline, America's first branded motor oil. Valvoline has been formulating and improving motor oil longer than any other brand. From the world's first racing oil to the world's first synthetic blend, Valvoline has been trusted in engines around the world for over 150 years. Make the switch today. Choose Valvoline, the original motor oil. At Auto Trade, we only recommend the best in quality because at Auto Trade, it's more than a vehicle. It's a relationship. Valvoline lubricants, now distributed by Auto Trade.
Universal elegance, the place no shop for home. Universal elegance, universal elegance, universal elegance, the place no shop for vehicles. Universal elegance, universal elegance, universal elegance, the place no shop for appliances. Universal elegance, universal elegance.
After working hard for many years in London, Goldwyn is now retired and back living in Dominica enjoying his pension. He toujours got smiles so we can see the gold teeth and toujours young. I met him coming out of Floss's with the help of some staff carrying different foods, drinks and meats to his vehicle. Myself too fast to go and ask the man what's up. Is their story start? Après moi fini travail ouais, so le kadimo descend Dominic pour finir la hamwe. I said, Goldwyn, speak in English, don't force it. Then he said, I shop with intelligence, yeah? At Floss's you get the most reasonable prices. Quarter bag flour, rice, sugar, milk, beers, soft drinks, water, rum, and so much more. Prices and quantities to fit your needs, mate. Because you just come down and want to tell me what I know about Floss's already. That's where I shop. It's not you alone that want to save money but still get the quality goods. That's right. And if you're listening to this ad, go and check out Floss's for yourself. next to the Roseville Market. You can't miss it.
Now opened on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Welcome back. We're going to go back to the telephones. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Caller, good afternoon. You can go ahead, please. All right. So earlier we gave you the number of new, basically total number of confirmations, over 17,000. And then we also been told that there were over 2,000 persons new registrations. Okay. And last month it was about 11. In June, there was 1,174 persons who registered. These are new persons who were never on the list before, over 1,000 for June. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. All right, we seem to be having some problems with this particular overseas line. It's not seem not to be going through. Caller, can you hear me? Okay. We seem to be having an issue with this overseas line. All right. So you can always call the local lines 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. I'm sure you'll be able to get us that way. But we're just discussing briefly as we wait for our next guest in studio, who should have been there over 40 minutes ago, but is not yet present. We are looking at a situation where the electoral office is reporting that they have increased the pace of acceptance of confirmations, that of the 19 or just over 19,000 persons who applied for confirmation, about over 17,000 has been approved. Okay, so that's where we are. We're going to try one last time on this line to see if this is working. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dominica. Good afternoon, Dr. Fontaine. Good afternoon, St. Joseph. Go and register to vote. The chance is now. Dr. Fontaine, the people, have to realize we have been taken for granted. Even we Dominicans that live in overseas. Dominicans should not vote this man until he tells them how much passport he sells and how much money derives from the passport, because, that's how people going to come together to pay taxes. That's how people going to grow confident. When a government tell you, okay, here is what come in and what go out. So we are a shortfall. Okay, things are bad. But this man making Dominicans believe the taxes in Dominica and all those drugs that they're going with in Dominica, that's what belongs to them. But the passport money is only he and his friends alone should know about it. The Roseville North constituency should not vote Kerry without telling them how much passport he sells. Today they're asking people to volunteer to Court Plainfield. And I used to live in them area there. And the places there used to be active. Everywhere you go, people playing soccer, people playing cricket, These areas used to be lively up. Grapefruit factory, lumber factory, guys making furniture and all different things used to take place in that community. It used to strive. Today, people have to beg people to volunteer to cut grass on a playing field after selling 51,000 passports. But how we Dominicans accept that? We cannot get the result from Roosevelt Skerrit. We cannot let Roosevelt Skerrit tell us Because that's what England waiting for. That's what Europe waiting for. That's what America waiting for. It's for Kerry to tell them the truth about our passport and who he sell it to. And yet still, Kerry is brave enough to think that he can call an election and win it. And win it, even not even telling Dominicans about their CBI money. And I thank Dr. Ponton, you see me, I'm leading judge. If Roosevelt Kerry were to watch me, I don't want him to move when he do it. And give me $100,000 and tell him stand up there first. I carry the money in pieces and I dash it in his face. When a man watch you and give you money to change your mind or to make decisions to support him, he watch you as a pharaoh. He disrespect you. Because in a good economy, making $100,000 a year is no money. And for Kerry to give people $2,000, $5,000 for them to vote him, and a Dominican cannot sit down and take a pen and paper and see if a good economy, they're making $2,000 a month saving instead of $200. And they can make over $50,000 a year in a good economy instead of getting $5,000 for a vote. Come on, Dominicans, man. Do better than that. Stop making yourself look like you. A lot of what you want to get it, don't scare it. Garrett is a genie. He comes out from a bottle. And he don't want to go back in that bottle. Oh, you're more brilliant than this guy. Come on. God bless Dominica. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Very passionate plea to Dominicans to go out there. Get confirmed. Okay, we cannot stress it enough how important it is to be part of that effort. And because you want to ensure that you have a voice after all. Do not allow your voice to be silenced. Do not allow your voice to become a non-issue. You need to speak up. You are living in this country. You should have a part in selecting your leaders. And as such, you should do the right thing. And that is go out there and confirm. Okay, now is not the time to argue about whether or not it should have been registration or confirmation. The fact of the matter is that is what was settled upon. And we do it because we understand that this is how we are going to effect the change that we need in this country. So again, I would just encourage everyone to do that and then to be able to have the voices be heard. All right. So it is a good sign, though, that the numbers are getting better as far as the registrations are concerned, as far as the confirmations are concerned. I think that's a good sign, a good trajectory. We need to keep that up. Still some ways to go, still a long ways to go. The issuance of the cards are also very important. And we had been told that they should be having the cards sometime in June. So we'll see how that plays out. But it is certainly something that we continue to keep a very close watch on. Okay, so that's where we are, Dominica. Of course, if you want the voices to be heard, we are opening up the lines for just a few moments as we await our guests in studio. It's 449-3095, 449-3096, and 449-3097, and the overseas line 305-432-9624. Anything that's on your mind this afternoon, we are happy to hear it. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to Talk on the Block.
Greetings, good evening.
Yes, good afternoon.
Give thanks and praise, man. Give us a little note if I am the sports, cricket, and then, listen before you give thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you're talking about the cricket scores. We will do that for you. I know West Indies batting, Kavem Hodge is at the crease. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Thomas Fontaine.
Yes, good afternoon.
The total amount of confirmation to date is 17,000 thereabout, right?
Yes, just over 17,000, yes.
Now it has been established that at the end of the process, we should have a voters list of about 55,000. Now there's only about 3.5 months to go. Do you think that's attainable?
Yeah, I know, but 55,000 sounds a bit much and the reason why I said it's a bit much, I'm going based on Antigua. Antigua has a population of almost 100,000 or about 94, 95,000, and their voters list is 44,000. So I don't think, with us having almost half the population of Antigua, we would have a voters list of 55,000. I'm going based on the number of persons who voted in the last 2019 election. It was about 34,000 or so. So it should be in that region, 35, 36,000. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So why? Because Mr. Nassif is talking about this for 55,000. So why not that difference?
Well, again, we never had 55,000 people voting in Dominica. That has never happened before.
Okay.
Like I said, we've had 30-something thousand, but never 50, never any 50,000. And then if you have a population of 70, even 75,000 people, 55,000 would be very high, I would think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were saying about 34, 35,000?
Yeah, probably 40 maximum in that range. Again, just comparing it, I would think that the Dominican and Antigua populations are similar in terms of the makeup, because remember, it's only persons from 18 years and upwards who are allowed to vote, right? So, yeah, that is.
So, within your estimation, about 35, 40,000, do you think that's achievable within the time frame which is left?
Well, what is encouraging is that they've been able to speed it up quite a lot. So a few thousand confirmations were done in the last couple of months, which means that they have now the ability to really speed it up, and that to me is good. So I'm hopeful that is good enough to get us to the point where everybody who confirms up to October will be counted, and that can be done very, very quickly.
And then one last observation: do you think the time extension wouldn't be required?
I think it would be. The question is whether or not the government will take the extension. From the way things are going, it's possible that would be required. The question is whether or not they will make use of it.
Why I say that? Because the Prime Minister is saying, and the election officers, they are fixated on the 15th of October. I get the impression that they don't want to go beyond that.
Yeah,
they're not saying it directly, but
you're right. I agree with you. I get the same impression as well. That's why I said I'm not sure if they will use it, but it is there in the legislation, and I would really encourage them to use that 3-month extension to make sure everybody that needs to gets confirmed.
I think so myself. Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
All right, thank you very much. We are going to go back to the telephone lines. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Fontaine.
Yes, good afternoon. Mm-hmm.
Unity is strength, right?
Yes, indeed.
And I want you to I would say, talk to the Dominican people, because there are several people who don't believe that they won the Labour Party anymore, that they cannot face what is happening in Dominica now, and a lot of them have been saying, they're not voting, so that way I had to convince the people and tell them, if you don't like what the government doing and you don't vote it, that means you leaving them in a power. For you to get a change in Dominica to be better for Dominica is that you must go on the register or reconfirm and go and vote. That's the only way you can see a change and things can be better for you and your children in the future. You know what I mean? So I want that to always be on the radio. The people who say they're not voting, they are doing something wrong. You're not satisfying your government, you need to go to the poll. The same way you vote them in, you need to go to the poll and put them out. Okay, Doctor, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. And I agree with you. Again, you cannot effect change by staying home on election day. You cannot effect change by keeping your name off the confirmation list. And remember, Dominicans, that even if your name is now on the voters list, for you to remain on the voters list after October 15th, you need to get confirmed. And to get confirmed, all you need is a birth certificate along with 2 picture IDs, and 2 pictures, ping pong passport size photographs, and an affidavit of identity, which you can get from your justice of the peace to say, this is the person represented on the birth certificate. All right. So with that, you can take this to the confirmation center that is spread throughout Dominica. You can also take in your driver's license, a passport, or a social security card. Any of these will do for the confirmation process. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, caller. All right, I suspect the caller is listening to his or her device rather than listening directly to their telephone. Good afternoon. Are you still with us? All right. When you're ready, you can call back as we move along there. We still have not seen our guests in studio, so we're just going to continue with an open line for the time being. We're asking you to call in and just give us your thoughts on especially on the confirmation process, how that is going. We certainly would love to hear from you. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dr. Thompson Pumpkin.
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
talking about going and get birth certificate. They don't have the paper to make birth certificate. There are a whole month now since I'm going there for a birth certificate and I can't get the birth certificate.
When was the last time you went there?
I went there last week.
Last week, and there was still no paper.
They still don't have the paper to print the birth certificate.
Oh, wow. Well, that is
So
something.
they tell people, they tell people go for a birth certificate and they don't have paper there to print the birth certificate. Nonsense that happening in Dominica. And they tell me the birth certificate is free. That means they give me a $20 free.
Wow.
Nonsense all that happening in Dominica.
And it really shouldn't take so long to get that rectified if you're missing paper all these weeks. I mean, yeah, it should have been in already. Okay, let's go back. Thank you, caller. Thank you. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
They all doing well? All is good?
Is this Q95?
This is Q95. This is Talk on the Block, and you are live.
Okay, I think you did some information a minute ago about the documents required for this information. I just did that with the full an idea. I think you need to check it out.
Sorry. You were not very clear. You are saying the information about the ID is what?
The requirement for the birth certificate is no longer pertinent.
It is no longer pertinent?
No, I went to the center and they told me I only had driver and one up-to-date ID.
No, sorry. Yes, the birth certificates are still allowed as part of the confirmation. So if you went in and you were told you cannot use it, then that is wrong. That is absolutely wrong.
Okay, all right.
Yes, sure. Okay, caller. Yeah, no, absolutely. The birth certificate that was reintroduced a few weeks ago, and but in addition to the birth certificate, you also require a picture, passport size photograph, and you also require to have an affidavit of identity. That's very clear. A number of persons have used that, and that is working well. So if you happen to go to a confirmation center and you're told that this is not the case, then that is something that you should absolutely look at, because it is the case that they're accepting this now in the confirmation centers. There are also some mobile centers that are going around, so you want to keep your eyes out for that as well. Okay, you also want to keep your eyes out for that. Somebody called earlier and was asking about the scores there for the cricket, and West Indies, of course, batting 135 for 3. And I can tell you that Hodge scored 16, and Brandon King got 31, and John Campbell 49. These are the 3 wickets down for the West Indies. At the wicket now is Jangu and Joshua Da Silva. All right, so West Indies struggling a little bit there, 136 for 3, facing 308 that was scored by Sri Lanka in the first inning. All right, so that is just an update on this particular score. We also know that there is some more cricket being played. New Zealand versus England. New Zealand scored 438 after seeming to be in a very, very strong position. They really collapsed today and yesterday afternoon, only able to get to 438. and England in response at 223-42. So a very strong response there from England. All right, we are moving along here this afternoon. We're keeping the lines open for your calls, and feel free to call 449-3095, 449-3096, and 3097. We had something completely planned differently, but we've not seen our guests in studios yet, so we're not sure. So we're just keeping the lines open for you.
Introducing Berger Paint, now at Dude Center Express, your exclusive paint destination. From bold Caribbean colors to timeless classics, Berger delivers lasting beauty and protection inside and out. With superior coverage and durability, you get long-lasting results with fewer coats and high washability that makes cleaning a breeze. From bold Caribbean colors to timeless classics, Berger delivers lasting beauty and protection inside and out. With superior coverage and durability, you get long-lasting results with fewer coats and high washability that makes cleaning a breeze. With a wide range of finishes and shades, whatever your style, Berger has the perfect color for you. Visit Do It Center Express, located on Cox Street, your partner in home improvement.
Win an unforgettable experience during the FIFA World Cup games and win.
Fresh Market Pharmacy has expanded to customers with its new additional location at Best Price. 2 convenient locations on the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard and at Best Price Riverbank. Fresh Market Pharmacy provides over-the-counter medication, health and personal care, prescription drugs, and natural supplements. Our experienced pharmacists and technicians provide the best quality services. Call 225-6883, 255-6875. WhatsApp 316-0310. Your prescription bill just got lower.
Fuel your farm with premium animal feeds at Bloombox. We're excited to announce a major expansion to our lineup. Bloombox Farm and Garden Center is now your go-to supplier for high-quality animal feeds. From poultry to livestock, we provide the specialized nutrition your animal needs to thrive. Our feed portfolio includes poultry solutions, swine care, small pet and livestock. Visit Bloombox in Roseau on the corner of Hanover Street and Drury Lane, or Bloombox Goodwill, 66 Federation Drive, Goodwill. Let's bloom together.
Welcome back to Talk on the Block, and we have with us in studio Mr. Carlton Lando, and of course he has all of the wonderful information there on Bloombox. Good afternoon to you, Carlton.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Thompson. It's such a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. I know usually I'm with Matt, but unfortunately he's out, and I know that you're doing a good job in his absence. Again, we are here talking Bloombox. We are the leading supplier of farm and garden and agricultural solutions for Dominica and everything that you desire. If you're planting, if you're an agricultural enthusiast, if you're someone who want to begin your backyard gardening, if you are an agricultural teacher, if you are someone that rears animals as well, we can take care of all of your problems. When we talk about problems, we are talking about solutions, and that's what we bring to you, solutions. So as we say, we are blooming together with you. Just to let you know again, we have agricultural tools, fertilizers, soil and potting mixes, seeds, irrigation equipment. If you're looking for pest control solutions, if you're looking for landscaping products, if you are looking for animal feed, you can get it at Bloombox. So it's everything under one big umbrella. That's what we bring to you. This afternoon, though, I am going to focus on animal feed. As you know, we are in the time where many people have had and continue to have a keen interest in the rearing of animals. We are all about food security. I would hope that one of these days, Dominica may follow suit to that of Barbados, whereby in Barbados, they don't import any chicken at all. All chicken are local. So if you go to the supermarket, you're going to get local chicken. We're not there as yet, but I'm hoping that very soon we will follow suit and we will be able to sustain our people with locally grown chicken. So if you're looking for animal feed at a reasonable price with the right benefits to help your animals to be healthier, to have a more robust immune system, to be more alert, to grow productively, look no further. Bloombox has met your need. And we are now the agent for two top animal feeds that are produced right here in the Caribbean. So we have Master Mix Feed brand and we have Caribbean Grains Animal Feed. And so let me just walk you through with the Master Mix feeding brand, and that is made in Grenada. So that means because it is made in Grenada, it is subjected to CARICOM exemptions. And so that means you're going to pay much less for these feeds because they are produced within the CARICOM base. So you can get the Master Mix feeds. They're available right now. And guess what? We have a promotion for these two brands of feeds. So that promotion will end on the 8th of July. That is July the 8th. That promotion ends. So that means that the promotion is going on as I speak. You can get your animal feeds, both the Master Mix Feeds brand and the Caribbean Grains Animal Feed brand from Bloombox at a ridiculously great price. And guess what? We are giving you even an extra bag. I will talk a little about that, but I just want to let you know that the Master Mix, I'm going to start with that particular brand. It comes in a bag of 50 pounds. So you get 50 pounds per bag. It is ideal for starters, for brawler starters, growers, finishers. If you have pullets that are starters or growers or developers, you can get that for layers as well, both 19% and 17%. If you have pigs, if you have rabbits, goats, sheep, you can actually feed all of these animals using the Master Mix brand. That brand is available, and as I said, you can get it at 50 pounds. It is made in Grenada. As you listen to me, just letting you know that the promotion that we have on the Master Mix Feed brand, it's if you buy, you must buy 5 bags. All right, so 5 bags. We sell a bag for just about $65 and above. So if you buy 5 bags, you will get 1 bag free. And as I said, each bag contains 50 pounds. So for the Master Mix, the promotion that goes on for it, it's you have to buy 5 bags, and then we will give you another bag for free. So you'll be leaving with with 6 bags in total, and that promotion will last until the 8th of July. The Caribbean Grains animal feed, we do have a promotion on this brand too as well, and this one is made in St. Lucia. So again, we have one being made in Grenada and the other one being made in St. Lucia. So both of them are CARICOM based products, and that means you're going to benefit in terms of a better price because they are made within the CARICOM basin. So the Caribbean Dreams, we have the Caribbean Grains, rather. The Caribbean Grains, we have, you buy 3 bags, each bag containing 50 pounds. So you buy 3 bags and you get 1 bag free. So the Caribbean Grains animal feed, the promotion is you must buy 3 bags and get the 4th bag absolutely free. So you're not going to pay for the 4th bag. And these items, they are very lucrative. Lots of people are excited about the animal feed. It's one of the fastest selling products that we have in stock. And why should I say that it is so fast selling? Is because 1, the price is right. 2, the inventory is wide, so we have stock that's available. 3, there is a promotion on it. And 4, because both animal feeds, they do not contain absolutely no antibiotics, no animal byproducts. And that is very important because we've heard a lot about antibiotic resistance. That is a big thing in medicine now. And for me, having a pharmacist background, I could tell you that is very, very, very serious, because it means that if you as an adult were to get an infection, some of these antibiotics would not work and subsequently could cause you to die, particularly if you have a very severe infection like a pneumonia, right? And so that is why we do not bring in any animals feed that contains antibiotics and any byproducts of animals. So all our animal feeds are free from antibiotics. In the past, they would put antibiotics in the animal feeds to help boost their immunity and at the same time to help them to grow faster. But with what is happening in medicine with antibiotic resistance, that is something now that the World Health Organization has prohibited. And so it is not something that is in our animals feed, and we do not have any artificial hormones in them as well. Because as you know, some of these artificial hormones, they can cause certain cancers and tumors, and hence the reason why they do not add any artificial hormones to these foods. So if you're looking for an animal feed that has no hormones, no antibiotics, no animal byproducts, then you have to visit Bloombox. As you know, we have 2 ideal locations. We have a location on Federation Drive, just before you get to Santa Roma, right, left, right, on the right-hand side of the road, you will see the big sign Bloombox. And so for those of you who really do not like to be going wrong, looking for a parking space, I would say the Santa Roma Goodwill location would be the ideal one for you. If you want to be in town and you might have other auxiliary services or business ventures to conduct, then we do have a branch in Roseau, and that is right on the corner of Hanover Street at the back of Whitchurch Supermarket. Right there, you will see Bloombox, fully air conditioned, and you can shop at your own leisure. As I did say last week, one of the things that customers really like about our store is that when they get in there, although it is air conditioned, they can still breathe freely. Why? Because yes, we do sell, fertilizers and pesticides and all of these things. However, there are extractors that removes all of these, smells and chemical smells that may make you feel a little oozy. So you can know that when you come to Bloombox, you are shopping in comfort. So these are, the two feeds. We're going to take a break and then we'll just basically summarize our promotion that we have until July the 8th.
Fuel your farm with premium animal feeds at Bloombox. We're excited to announce a major expansion to our lineup. Bloombox Farm and Garden Center is now your go-to supplier for high-quality animal feeds. From poultry to livestock, we provide the specialized nutrition your animal needs to thrive. Our feed portfolio includes poultry solutions, swine care, small pet and livestock. Visit Bloombox in Roseau on the corner of Hanover Street and Drury Lane, or Bloombox Goodwill, 66 Federation Drive, Goodwill. Let's bloom together. Fuel your farm with premium animal feeds at Bloombox. We're excited to announce a major expansion to our lineup. Bloombox Farm and Garden Center is now your go-to supplier for high-quality animal feeds. From poultry to livestock, we provide the specialized nutrition your animal needs to thrive. Our feed portfolio includes poultry solutions, swine care, small pet and livestock. Visit Bloombox in Roseau on the corner of Hanover Street and Drury Lane, or Bloombox Goodwill, 66 Federation Drive, Goodwill. Let's bloom together.
So we're back with you. As I said, today we're focusing on our new animals feed brands that are on island, the Master Mix Feeds and the Caribbean Greens Animal Feed. Both are available at Bloombox. We are the local agents for these animals feed. And as I said, they're multi-purpose, so you can get it for your chicken, your sheep, your goat, your horse, your donkey, your cow. All of these, your pigs, all of these animals, they can be fed with these amazing animal feeds. As I said, they contain no hormones, no antibiotics, and no animal byproducts. Now, why should you invest in these brands? One, they are optimizing protein and amino acids. And as we know, proteins are essential for building and tissues, repairing tissues, developing cells, and helping tissues to be repaired. So you can get your proteins in there. The animals will get the optimal proteins. Key minerals, and minerals are what you get from the earth, your iron, potassium, manganese, which are very essential for to prevent anemia in animals. And yes, animals can get anemia, particularly if they are infested with ticks and fleas. They can get iron deficiency anemia. And so with the minerals, that will help to optimize the hemoglobin levels and the iron levels. Again, minerals and trace elements are also in there. And also you can get natural antioxidants, which prevents free radicals and prevents your animals from getting particularly communicable diseases. So sometimes the animals get things that are floating around, viruses, bacterial infections, just like we do. And so with a robust immune system that is protected by the antioxidants, you can be rest assured that your animals will be safe. So These foods are highly digestible. As I said, they help with your immunity, growth development, help with the skeletal muscular system. And guess what? There is a particular natural nutrient that's in the animals called butane, and that natural nutrient, it is responsible for osmosis. So it's responsible for retaining fluid. So that's why the horse, the donkey, the sheep, the goat, they can stay in the sun, in sunlight, in sunshine for extended period of time without fainting or dying. But we still encourage you to make sure that they have water. But this food, this animal feed, they also contain higher levels of butane that is going to help to maintain hydration of the animals, particularly under stress. So right now we're experiencing a drought weather, and you have your livestock that is grazing on the field exposed to high levels of sunshine. Because of that particular food, the butane, which is a nutrient, natural nutrient, that is higher in the animal food, and it's going to help to prevent the animal from dehydration. So the cardiovascular health, the digestive system, and cellular protection, all of which are great benefits from by using these animal feeds, which contain the betaine. And so, as I said, the Master Mix feed and the Caribbean Greens animal feed, they are our brands at Bloombox. They are available. We have a promotion. Again, the Master Mix feed, if you buy 5 bags right now, you will get an extra bag for free. That's the promotion. And if you buy the Caribbean Greens animal feed, you buy 3 bags, you will get a bag extra for free. This is valid until the 8th of July. So that's sometime next week. That will be the promotion will go on until about that time. Again, compliments Bloombox, your number one agricultural farm and garden solution here based in Dominica. Again, our numbers are 285-3480. If you want to contact the Goodwill branch, the number is 235-3480. Let me give you that number again. For the Goodwill branch, 235-3480. And for the Rosa branch, it is 235-3483. Our working hours are Mondays to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. On a Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can find us on Facebook, on social media. Again, if you want to email us, you can send an email to info, that is info at go, G-O, Bloom, B-L-O-O-M, box, B-O-X, as in one word, gobloombox.com. And you can email us. We are always ready to answer any question or inquiry that you may have. So from all of us from Bloombox, we say, let us bloom together in lovely nature, Dominica. And we say to you, have a good weekend. Take care of yourself. Until next week, I am your spokesperson, Carlton Lando, saying take care. Bye-bye.
Farm with premium animal feeds at Bloombox. We're excited to announce a major expansion to our lineup. Bloombox Farm and Garden Center is now your go-to supplier for high-quality animal feeds. From poultry to livestock, we provide the specialized nutrition your animal needs to thrive. Our feed portfolio includes poultry solutions, swine care, small pet and livestock. Visit Bloombox in Roseau on the corner of Hanover Street and Drury Lane, or Bloombox Goodwill, 66 Federation Drive, Goodwill. Let's bloom together. Fuel your farm with premium animal feeds at Bloombox. We're excited to announce a major expansion to our lineup. Bloombox Farm and Garden Center is now your go-to supplier for high-quality animal feed. From poultry to livestock, we provide the specialized nutrition your animal needs to thrive. Our feed portfolio includes poultry solutions, swine care, small pet and livestock. Visit Bloombox in Roseau on the corner of Hanover Street and Drury Lane, or Bloombox Goodwill, 66 Federation Drive, Goodwill. Let's bloom together.
Hey, good morning.
You ready? The time is now. Wave your flag. Wave them high. Come on. The sun is rising over Roseau Town. We're tired of the system dragging us down. From the valley to the mountainside, we carry the hope, we carry the pride. The workers ready, the youth standing tall. Answer the rhythm, answer the call. We're moving together, no turning back. The UWP is on the right track. Can you feel the energy? Can you feel the destiny? Dominica, let the world see. We fighting for legacy. It's a blue way. People try to the blue way. The workers got their voice. Some born and leading the way. Victory is coming. It's a brand new day. You know what you feel. You know what you feel. We're talking about growth with the people of nature, and we make our own transparency and the helping hand to build the future across the land. No empty promises, no more fear. The change we wanted is finally here. From America down to Superior, the sound of the workers is everywhere. When I say team, you say blue. Team, blue, team, blue. When I say time, you say change.
Welcome back to Talk on the Block. And when I say team, you say blue. Talking about the blue team, we have with us in studio the president of the United Workers' Party, Team Dominica, Mr. Claudius Sanford. And let me say good afternoon to you, Claudius. Good to have you.
Good afternoon, Doc. I say Doc. I heard Danny say Tom, so it's all well. Doc, Dr.
Yes.
Fontaine. It's a pleasure to be with you here again in studio this afternoon, this Friday afternoon on the weekend. And yeah, when you hear the name, it's all blue. You know, the blue
It's a
wave
blue
is
wave.
coming. Yeah.
It is. Absolutely. Claudius, well, thanks for coming to talk to us. But before we go into the heart of our discussion, just wanted to ask you, how is it in the Kalinago territory, given the recent events, and now we're in the middle of the hurricane season? How are the people, how are the Kalinago people feeling, or are there any fears? Are they worried about this hurricane season? What's going on there?
But it's very hot, I can tell you that for sure. Since the trough, we have had a steady month, almost 2 months of very hot sun, very little rain, which is a good thing considering what happened. But also, you know, the elders always said, once you have a hot May month, you need to look out for the hurricane season. And that, you know, traditional knowledge has stayed with me. So I believe many of my colleagues in the Kalinago territory are aware of that teachings of our ancestors. So as to whether they're fearful, I'm not sure, but we are indeed concerned about the upcoming hurricane season. We have been resilient. I kind of sometimes be very wary of that word, because sometimes resilience could be that it's a poverty disguise, you know. But yeah, we have survived some of the worst natural disasters on that part of the island. And I think we can survive more, but we are concerned about the upcoming season with the land, you know, the cracks and the slippages that happened in April during the trough. But people are putting their acts together, and we believe that, you know, the Great Spirit will guide us as they have always done in the past. And we look forward to better days, not necessarily, you know, letting our fear control the focus of our day-to-day activities.
All right, excellent. So let's hope for the best there as the season rolls along. All right, Claudius, you're here, and you're talking to us today about the 10 pillars. That is the 10 pillars for shared prosperity for all of Dominica. That has been put forward by the United Workers' Party as a foundation, a plan that the country can wrap their heads and their minds around, as it, you know, it points the way to the future. So I'm glad that you're able to be here with us as we talk in some more detail about the 10 pillars, and we look at some of the areas that the United Workers' Party government will actually focus on, which is very important given the state of the economy. And what better person to discuss that with you? You are an economist. You've taught for many years at the State College, Masters in Economics, and also a State College tutor in economics. So you have had the opportunity to train countless young people in economics, and keep it up a proud tradition, by the way, something that I did for many years as well at the sixth form college, as it was called. And so it's good that tradition continues. So I think you're well placed, you know, to have that discussion with concerning the 10 pillars. But before we go, just give us your initial impression of when we talk about the 10 pillars, what exactly it is that we are referring to.
Definitely, Dr. Fontaine, and again, it's a pleasure to sit with you, you know, in that ambience of economic minds and economic thinking. Fundamentally, economics is based on 10 principles, you know, the 10 principles of economics, where the first one is there's always a trade-off, right? No matter whatever decision you take, there you always give up something for the next. And whatever you choose to do, you weigh the benefits versus the cost. So that's fundamental in economics. Now, the 10-pillar plan for shared prosperity in Dominica, you know, we all discuss it among ourselves, and we came up with it. It's nothing really new. The UWP, in its founding days, can by its name, the United Workers' Party, is really a focus on the working class. And what we have seen over the last 25 years is that the working class has disseminated. We have two branches now. We have the political elites, and then after that, you have the business class, which has also lost a lot of prominence in Dominica as well. And then you have the poor class. So the working class back in the Freedom Party days and the United Workers' Party 5 years between 95 and 2000 you see that has disseminated. Back in the days, you would have and you, if you look at the evolution, I will take a little time to go back there before I get into the 10-pillar plan. The evolution is that the peasants, the freed slaves from the plantation, started the agronomy, the agriculture, the peasantry part of the economy. And you had the monocrop culture over the years, from the sugarcane to the cocoa to the coffee to the bananas to the coconuts. And then after the bananas, we haven't really had a one mono cash crop in Dominica. And these peasants or the freed slaves were able to use whatever earnings they got from agriculture to send the children to school. And you kind of come in the latter end, towards the latter end of that. It was a struggle where you'd have to board a truck on a Sunday or Monday morning very early, get into Roseau with your bag of provision to last you the week or two, and you would go into town, and limited spaces at the high schools. And so really is the creme de creme, the cream of the crop from the countryside, from the plantation system, or the aftermath of the plantation system, that would make it into the town. And you had the bourgeoisie class, which were the kind of mulattoes and some of the residues of the white plantation settlers that stayed back. They had the economic and the political prowess of the nation. And these people had to struggle through the high school possibilities that were existing at the time, and they made it. And over time, as that grew, the population of the freed slave, the descendants of the freed slave begin to take some of the political control and the economic control of the colony, of the economy. And we see the number of the people expanded. So the working class expanded up to the 90s and the 80s, where I think it peaked, where so a teacher, a policeman, a doctor, a nurse could go to the bank, take a mortgage, buy a piece of land, build a house, and really exercise their franchise, their freedom, their liberties. And that is what built the communities of Marigot, the Wesley, the St. Joseph, and so on, moving away from Portsmouth and Roseau, which were the hub from the plantation system. So that said, but for the last quarter of a century, the last 25 years under the Labour Party, we see the ideology of equity, socialism, even bordering on communism take over, and where you have the social or the political elites take control, both sometimes of the economic powers of the country. We see that with the CBI program and all what is going on. And some of the business class that had built from the plantation system, some of them were pushed out, or crowded out, due to the government, taking over the banking system in the construction sector. And so we see a lot of that happening. And then we realize the economy now is in shambles. I'm giving a really brief summary of the evolution here. And then we reach a point where the economy is in trouble. CBI is dwindling, it's on the decline. We have no cash crop from the agriculture or monocrop cash crop to replace bananas. We have not found that yet. And we saw a really non-interest kind of approach to agriculture, where a few people who stay may make some money because it's not very competitive to get into agriculture. So those who can make it will make some money. And we see a lot of even the politicians went into that field, trying to buy land and so on, and get their farms going. And the people who totally depended on it then lost that footing in agriculture. So we see that, and then we see the tourism sector again, really depending on cruise tourism, which is not very lucrative. I stay over tourism, in all research I have read is the way to go with niche markets, So we saw what has happened is that we have the nice wording for those things, but the actual practical implementation is not happening. So then we realized that, and we said, hey, man, the 10 pillars for shared prosperity is the way to go, because as I said before, and I've said it on this program, I think we need a political solution in Dominica. The politician has done well for themselves. They have been able to control the media, control the narrative, suppress the opposition, and they have succeeded politically. But economically, it's a failure, and we see that. So we don't need a political solution in Dominica. We need an economic solution. So the 10 pillars is really a framework under which we can divide, if you want to use that word, the main economic sectors of this country, and build on them in such a way that we can bring prosperity to the land or to the country, but not just prosperity for a few. Prosperity that could be shared for all Dominicans across the board. So we can go back to strengthening the middle class, rebuilding the private sector, the business sector, in true, fairness and equitable distribution of those resources. And to the lower class people, the peasants, we can empower them to get out of that lingering status that they have, and help their children, to grow up into the middle class, and we can all rise, as a collective, nation together, building on the resources we have, both the human resource and also the natural resources that we have, and the capital resource, which is also always scarce, in any economy. But if we do the right things and we do them well, we wipe out corruption, we ensure accountability in all sectors of government, we streamline the wastage and so on, we can then build this prosperous economy that everybody can share, equally and fairly in its upgrade. So that is basically the thinking that came towards the 10 pillar program, and I'm happy that you were part of this, and together with all of us who sat and came up with it. Those who in the country and out of the country, we engage some people in the diaspora, and I just think over the years we have not engaged or embraced the huge human capital and the capital that these people can in the diaspora can input into our country. And I think it was good working with a few people on the outside to put this together. And it is our hope that with the blessings and the mandate of the people, we can embrace our Dominican brothers and sisters in the diaspora in a more meaningful way to help bring prosperity to our country.
This is excellent, Claudius. I like how you laid the background and showed very clearly where we have been, where we are, and where we can get to, which is very important. And what to me is a more important part of the 10 pillars, and something that really gets me really excited about the 10 pillars, is the possibility of putting in place an economic system in Dominica that benefits not just a few. And that to me is the biggest appeal of the 10 pillars, because in that 10 pillars and that shared prosperity idea is a place for every Dominican. We are focused on looking at the public servants. We'll deal with the public servants, deal with the high cost of living, deal with some of the social issues that we are faced with. It will deal importantly with the economic pillars. How do we grow the economy? How do we provide jobs for our people? It will deal with the young people. It will take care of two problems. One, the very high migration rate of our young people, but also providing opportunities for them. And that to me is truly exciting. So it's a very concrete plan. It's a plan that we've not seen the likes of before in Dominica, and is something I believe that the Dominican public need to know a lot more about, a lot more of. And I'm very happy that you're here so we can even talk some more of the details. So, so I don't know which of the 10 pillars you want to tackle first. We have 10 of them, but you can take one and then, we can talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. But even before I go to the particulars of the 10 pillar, it is also, I think it also makes for good conversation politically. We have witnessed a political era over the last 25 years of really bashing each other, and trying to outwit each other with mépris, as we call it, and getting the Dominican people minds occupied in non-productive things, I would say, right? And who has dimples, who doesn't have, who is ugly, who is this, who is that, what cost of clothes people wear, and this and those things do not bring any growth or productivity to the economy. So I believe with the 10 pillar program we introduced, it has started the conversation and allow the United Workers' Party as an alternative government to focus more on the conversation that would bring people thinking of a more productive society, a more stable society, and a society where our people can come back and enjoy life. So I think the conversation has changed, and with that change, which we have always talked about in the United Workers' Party, some people have fallen in line, but some people still were not too happy because they were cultured in the politics of the last 25 years. That was really an exchange of not productive words between political parties. So that, I think, set a new pace in the conversation in Dominica, and with that, we were able to see people, engaging us in a more meaningful conversation as it relates to the economy, which is again down the line that you are strong at, Dr. Fontaine, as a PhD holder in economics, one who has worked in that field for a very long time. It would bring a certain level of leadership that is more, I would say, more reliable and stable, and not just political leadership, but both a combination of political leadership and economic leadership, which is what I think the country really needs. But in the 10-pillar program, we one of the first one we spoke about was fair wages. And I believe in Dominica, everybody could understand now the importance of having a wage system that is fair and how it will help empower people. So I think that is one of the fundamental pillars, is that people need fair wages for the day-to-day survival. And we have seen over the years the minimum wage, being stagnant. There were some changes made to it, but
recently, and only after we raised it in our 10 pillars,
Right.
we had some movement on the part of government.
Right. So I think that is one of the fundamental areas that I believe for any Dominican to survive, they need a fair payment for their labor, or fair exchange of resources. You put in your capital, labor, your training, your experience, and your skills into an enterprise or into an undertaking, and you would expect a fair pay in return. And I believe that is the first fundamental one, Dr. Fontaine. I know you're very passionate about that. So maybe you can
yes, absolutely. And one of the reasons why I am is because we have a significant number of young people working, especially within the National Employment Program, who are not making a living wage. These are individuals who are working hard, doing what they have to do. But if you're being paid $930 a month, that works out to about $7 an hour. I mean, that is simply not enough. It is not enough for you to do the bare minimum. So what we did is we calculated the amount on an average basis of what it would cost to live, not a lavish lifestyle, but to not have to worry that you're working and you cannot make ends meet. At least you can have a basic rent, basic groceries, and so on. You can pay your light bills, you can pay your power, and so on. And what we came up with is roughly $2,000. And that's the reason why we looked at $12 as a start, because that is where we believe that everybody at the very lowest level, that is where you should be earning at least 2,000 EC dollars a month. And so that's how we came by the $12 per hour. And we would like to see that in place as one of the first things the United Workers' Party government will do, because we want to begin already to uplift persons. And when you have all of that new spending being introduced into the economy, it has a positive spin-off. The spin-off is that, and as you know, consumption is a key part of our gross domestic product. So people will have more monies now to spend on things, even on local produce, they have more on services and so on. So you can, out of that, you can have new businesses evolve even, because now you're going to have businesses that will want to satisfy some of the needs that were not there before. You might have an increase in hairdressers, because now you have a lot more persons going to the hairdresser, in the barbers and so on, the small businesses. So you can have a mushrooming effect, in the sense that once it starts, it can keep increasing and growing and improving simply by giving this minimum wage. So there is a reason why we are proposing this. It's not just that we want to see people better off, but it also has a positive impact on the economy. It can really be where we begin to have the kickoff in the economy that will start to grow. And obviously, as we go along, we'll be monitoring it to see whether or not it can be increased and to what extent it can be increased. But it's certainly something we are committed to, and we believe will really make a big, big difference and setting the stage for those for really the shared prosperity that we talk about.
Definitely, and the difference in the approach. I know even there are some people, even within our own support base, who may say, "But how can this be sustainable?" The businesses may question it. They may may not step in and do it. So there's going to be rancor and so. But what I say to that is that there's the approach to any policy action, and that is where we have gone wrong over the last 25 years. You do not respond to haphazard pronouncement. There's a systematic way of planning things, and in policy you have to look at all the variables at play and ensure that you look at the foreseen circumstance, we call it in economics, and the unforeseen circumstance or consequences, and you try to minimize as much as possible the negative consequences that you would not like in a policy outcome. And that requires proper implementation, proper planning. You have to look at the various sectors, the various fields, or what I would call the various variables in economics. We call it that will come into play to make this policy effective. So we're not going to just wake up tomorrow and listen to the radio like the government does, and when some 2 free callers call with a concern, we move to a short-term solution of it. Too short, too flam. That's why CK made that song, Too Short, Too Flam, right? It's something you have to think about, you have to measure, you have to have the right people in place, the right departments are supposed to be properly oiled, if that is the right word to use, so that when the policy goes into action or is implemented, you would have seen all the various variables at play and correct for some of the negative outcomes, and it would eventually, and I think you explained it well. In economics, we call it the multiplier effect. Some of these students listening may understand that from college, but it's simply where if you have a high level of domestic consumption, that the people that get that money spend it in the local economy and the local production increases, then you're going to have a greater spill-off, which is what the multiplier effect is, into other sectors that will then create a further spill-off to the wider economy, which you get back to the business places, because they now can maybe get production from the local production logistic or supply chain, that the profit margins may be greater. Because if you can have more production in the economy, where the production cost may be lower than you importing the stuff from away, your profit margin will be much greater, and then you have a less strain on meeting the higher payment of the wages or the minimum wage.
Right. And not only that, Claudius, it will not be without some intervention, because bear in mind it's a carefully thought out policy. So yeah, we might understand some of the businesses might say, but how am I going to pay this $12 per hour? That may be a strain in it. There are ways of doing it, So as an example, we could look at those businesses and say, well, okay, why don't we work something out? Because as part of the 10 pillars also is a fiscal plan, a tax policy that we're going to put in place. And we know, for example, that government takes 25% corporation tax. Government takes 16% VAT. When businesses come to the port, they take excise and all sorts of fees and so on. So we will be able to provide some relief in some areas for those businesses that will free up some resources that they can then spend on their employees. But the important part of it is that those same businesses will be making a lot more money than they made previously, which will again give them some more latitude to be able to pay, better wages to their employees. So it's something that, we're going to work. We'll put in place the legislation so that companies will have to follow through, but we'll not leave them alone. We'll be able to work with those companies and really help them, to be able to have some kind of trade-offs with their taxes, where they'll be able to put that towards their businesses. So we have thought this thing out. It's not just a thought. It's something that we have been looking at. We'll obviously crunching the numbers as we go along. But that part, just putting more money into the hands of the public is critical. And then also just switching, with the other thing that we plan to do is that, we hope to be able to do the regularity of it. So that is something that we have to look into. So that instead of getting paid every month, having to wait for a whole 30 days to get paid, can we do it every fortnight? Can we have money? So every other week, people have money coming into them. That is something that we absolutely have to look to as another way of increasing, because there are two things. So it's not just the the value that you're bringing in, but also the speed at which that is introduced into the economy. We call that the velocity. That's a technical term for it. It's the speed at which it's introduced. And that speed alone has its own dynamic, all right? That can then help to create more opportunities, increase the level of wealth, increase the level of production, increase overall GDP for the country.
Yeah, and just give the whole country a little more vibes. The country now is really slipping. If you want to, if you look at it, if I'm not the type that goes out very regularly on weekends anymore. I used to do that a lot before. But now when you drive on a Saturday in the countryside and you see all the shops are closed by 7, 8 o'clock, the little bars are closed, you see there's no vibes in the country. So if we can, if this policy is implemented and people have fortnightly paid, income, you can see there's a lot more vibes, a lot more energy, in the circulation or the speed at which the money go around in the economy. And again, if we can zero that in other factors and other variables where local production, domestic consumption is moving greater, we will see a big difference. Right now, Doc, if you really analyze it, and we do that at the college in some of my classes, is like you try to put a figure to every dollar in the country that is domestically consumed. And it's very, very low. I don't know what you think. I think it's about 20% of every dollar goes back into domestic consumption. That is like one of the worst scenarios that any economy can face. I mean,
you're absolutely correct, because we import everything. We import down to our tomatoes. We import. So when you have a country that is so heavily import reliant, it means that you have what they call the leakages. The money is going back out. It's not circulating. So again, and that is where again our plan is complete. We're not leaving any holes in there. We are saying that by having this focus on domestic production, increasing our agriculture, for example, increasing our manufacturing, we can now have some import substitution. So that instead of buying items coming from overseas, you buy them from here. Instead of buying imported water, you now have a factory in Dominica that is making a factory, 2 or 3 factories that is bottling the water right here in Dominica. That money stays. You've now substituted from a foreign company to a domestic company. Basic manufacturing, whether it's textile or the type of manufacturing that you have on the island, you can now shift. So this import substitution becomes a critical part of it, to attack just this issue that you're talking about, because for you to have a vibrant economy, you need at least a 50 cents to the dollar staying within the economy. Definitely. And that is when you begin to empower local businesses. That is when, if you notice, Claudius, our business class has not grown. To the contrary, it has declined tremendously over the years. We've had a tremendous decline in the number of businesses. Small businesses are having a very difficult time here in Dominica. And that's the reason why we've, in fact, in our 10 pillars, we are tackling that particular problem. And that's also another way to do it. But let's take this caller. Anyone want to talk to us? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Thompson Fontaine. Good afternoon, President Sanford.
Yes, good afternoon, Danny. Good to hear you.
Well, I can tell you're exploiting the 10 pillars.
Yes.
And I'm sure we'll be expounding more on that this evening in Parish Pit. So I want to invite Dominica, the whole of the constituency, and neighboring constituencies, come to Parish Pit, because I too will be presenting part of the 10 pillars. I will show how some of the plans and programs and developments for Rosenet will fit into the 10-pillar plan that Dr. Thompson Fontaine and Sanford are expounding on right at this hour. But I would like to invite everybody, wherever you are, come to Tashford. It's going to be a wonderful time. Security is White House side. We don't need any policemen. We are a peaceful community. So join me, Danny Lugue, and Team Dominica in Rosenhof, in Parish Pit this evening at 6:30, bang on time.
All right. Thank you, Danny. And for sure, we will be there 6:30. And the invitation is for everyone to join us at Parish Pit tonight. Let's go back to the telephone. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Fontaine.
Yes, good afternoon.
How are you?
Okay, we're doing well. We are doing well.
I didn't get the other person in the citizen name, but I wanted to good afternoon to that person.
Yeah, that's Claudia Sanford, the president of the party.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Oh, wonderful. I listened to the program, right? And when you all talk about people getting paid with 2 weeks, man, that would be a bomb. The reason why I say this, right? I was in construction one time in the Livier, and I worked with a guy for 2 weeks, and he's not paying me. So I went to the labor department. Mr. Wendell Porter was the chief labor officer at the time. And when I made my complaint, he took his telephone right away, and he called the person. He said, "Listen, 2 weeks for a construction man in the sun, that's too long. He's supposed to be getting paid every week." So even the construction workers in Dominica, once the economy is good, they'll be getting paid every week. So keep on that way. Let Dominicans understand that there's a way out, there's hope, and that's what we want to hear. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, caller, for sharing this with us. Let's go back to your telephone calls. Okay, we missed this caller. Please call again. We certainly would love to hear from you. We are discussing the 10 pillars to shared prosperity, and we are focused on this very important issue of this wage issue and how we tackle it in a way that will bring benefit. So, we are promising to the Dominican public that we will make the people of this country will have a living wage that will allow them to breathe more freely. And whilst we're doing all of this, Claudius, we are also tackling the very high cost of living that we have.
Yeah, because what will happen, Doc, and the reason why the cost of living is so high in the country is that, as you rightly said, 80% of our consumption are imports. And then we are competing with all the other people around the world to buy these goods and commodities. So then the demand for these goods and commodities are high out there, so the prices are high, and we have to import this price. When we import this price, the small businesses have to make their markup. So on this high imported price, they still have to do a markup to that, right? And then the government, who is very large, 21 ministries, 18, I'm not even
18.
sure, I cannot even keep check of it, has to pay this very large wage bill, has to then tax very heavily the 15% of VAT on those items. They still have to charge the income tax for the people. So at the end of the day, the people, the day-to-day, everyday brothers and sisters, they are the one carrying the brunt of this burden that the government has imposed upon them. So once we get this going and there's more local production and consumption, then you will definitely see an outgrowth or a growth rate of economic growth that will then raise everybody up. And then that is where I believe the idea of the shared prosperity comes in, where everybody will definitely have some benefits, to the prosperity of the country.
Yes, and then to put that in perspective, as you talk about growing, for an economy like ours to really begin to create this wealth and begin to lift people up, our businesses, our individual workers and so on, we need to be running at around 7 to 8%. Okay, we have not achieved that any time under this government. We've been way below that. So a focus of economic growth is going to be critical. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon to you. Hello, good afternoon. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Mr. Stanford, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, sir.
I don't know if you hear me clear because I'm by the road and it's a little bit noisy. But do you hear me clearly?
Yes, you're coming across clearly, yes.
Yeah, I just listened to Mr. Stanford and his point he's bringing across on tourism, on community development, on laborers, working people. And the other sector like tourism. But what I noticed, even off the cruise season, you just have these 40 ships come sometimes at the month. And those ships that come off this season, they're supposed to have more access and more people supposed to be coming up on the cruise ship because you have more this side, more empty, you have less visitors on the island, and the people who come off this ship. That is something I noticed. I work in tourism for so many years. I do a lot of tourism projects up on the north in Marigot. And if we don't promoting from the cruise ship end, the cruise ship end is supposed to be one of the end that promoting the island more. That when the people come, they can come back by air. Because I know that is how it used to be when I was in the tourism industry. Now, we push our, one of the brands the people look for is the indigenous people, the Kalinago. Now, the people that come on the cruise ships, many of them do go up to the reserve. You must put these people up front. The cruise ship people don't just come for going at the side. They come for drinking, entertainment. If you notice across by Rings, the old Barracoon building in the old market there, they come for some of those things. And when you look at the environment we have some of the environment for it. If you look at from Woodbridge Bay, that beach going up to Pottersville there, that Black Sand Beach, we have the spots for it. But somehow we don't put in the product for them, and we have to build that product for them. If you don't build it, you're going to lose the industry. I mean, I work in farming, and to me, we can't keep doing the same thing all the time, depending on the hawks and depending on trade to export our agriculture. We have to manufacture, process our agriculture, refine it into flour. The pumpkin flour is one of the big brands on the market, and I don't understand how we don't see it that way. Even the tourism people crying, the big businessmen crying, the hotel owners crying. And I believe the business people have to put more into tourism, like the big hotels. They don't trade it, they don't have a boat, they don't do no industrial things, and that is one of the problems I find. And it's just for me wasting a time. I'd want to do some serious farming. I want to plant seed cassava, I want to plant potato, I want to plant apple bananas, because I know that is what the tourists want. But stand for the program, not enough for that, and I think Mr. G need to have a program especially for that time, and I believe it will work better, like when the people home on a Sunday afternoon relax. The business people should sponsor that program, and that, I think Mr. Sheridan Brewer needs to do that, a program like what Kodina used to have. He can bring somebody an interview.
Yeah.
Because to me, I get discouraged, I've been like telling you, and even if people that come to invest move, if you look at around Big One, all these little businesses that go to the river, Roots and Forest, like a greenhouse, people doing a guest house up in number 6, all these people move out. Even the little site I had at Big Watch, I didn't get support from the government. I need this site to be on the tourist map, and all our dead discovered them, get to put it on the map so that the overnight at 60. They never put it, and I find it just too long. And the young people need an embassy. All the people that want to go up there, they're supposed to have an embassy to represent the young people. Everybody cannot be a minister in the ministry.
It's true. Thank you very much for that contribution. And I mean, your voice has always been there, talking for a better tourism development program in Dominica. And time has run out, but we also have, something to do with the, pillar number 4, the Kalinago people, ecotourism, sports and culture. And even in our sports and our culture, there's so much more we can do. I was talking to a gentleman today who has a framework, that we can adopt in governance to bring in the culture and sports into a more productive avenue in Dominica. Not to exploit it and bastardize it as they once said, but to develop it in such a way that while the culture grew, it also brings in with it some revenue and a stronger tourism product. And these are the kind of thinking that has gone into the 10-pillar program that the United Workers' Party have put forward. And as we draw closer to the decision day in Dominica, we'll be definitely dealing with more of those aspects of the 10-pillar program and how it can definitely uplift Dominica and bring shared prosperity for all Dominicans, because we have seen our society move into, as I said, a political elite class and then the poor class and the dissemination of the working class in Dominica. All our young people who have ambition, who have drive, are moving out, and it's sad. And we have to embrace our people. We have to find ways to keep our people on island, because Dominica is still pretty much one of the better places to live in the world. We have to protect our rivers. We have to protect our environment. We have to keep our people safe and ensure that peace and tranquility exist, and ensure that our police force is properly financed to do the right job and keep their focus on what their job is, and not necessarily politicking. There's so much that has to be done in this country, and I believe the United Workers' Party is positioned with the leadership of Dr. Fontaine to take this forward. And we are starting the ball rolling. We will be definitely in Rosenhof tonight with Brother Luge in Tarish Pit, and I would like to as well invite all the people of the Rosenhof area listening to Q95 to just take the Friday evening off and come and listen to some of the educational presentations that we'll be doing tonight, and to help you make a better decision in the by-election. We need to save this country, and we need to start with each and every one of you in the Rosa North area. So
yes, indeed, and that's what it is about. It's about saving this country. I mean, everyone will agree, whether regardless of which party you now support, you will agree that Dominica is not doing well under this government. You will agree that after 26 going on 27 years of DLP governance, the country is worse off today than it was 26 or 27 years ago. You must agree that the economy has failed under this government. Poverty has increased. Unemployment has increased. Social problems have increased. The number of young men, Claudius, that almost every day, I almost ran into one this morning, walking in the middle of the road, out of his mind. And you have so much of that happening in Dominica under this government, things we've never seen before. So it's about, and if people are honest with themselves, they'll realize that now it is beyond a party. It is beyond just saying, well, I support my Labour Party, I'm going to continue supporting them. You have to think very seriously about your future, about the future of this country. We are at a crossroads. We are at a point where we can make that difference in this country. And that's why, Claudius, we're continuing to build a team that will be able to do this, a team of competence, a team of professional people that will get to work from day one. In fact, it's not even day one. It is minus whatever, 100 days minus something days, might be in a minus, getting towards the first day of office. And we're already doing what we have to do to ensure that, once we get into office, we hit the ground running and we can really deliver on our promise to the Dominican public. And it's a very simple promise to put money in their pockets and then, through their hard work and then to build this country. Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk on the Block.
Good afternoon. The two doctors, Dr. Thompson and Dr. Stanford.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Stanford, how are you doing, my daily day?
I'm doing well, thank you. I haven't reached the doctor's stage yet, but
But he says he will take it.
I'll take it.
But you all have to realize that Dominica is not progressing. Dominica is reversing. Yes, yesterday I was telling somebody, some years ago, Dominica was 20 better than now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who cannot see it, but I can see it.
That is correct.
I met a young man yesterday, he asked me $2, not even one. I told him on Wednesday. So I told him, you're not working. He told me, no, what is wrong with you? You're not getting it. I said, okay, financial concerns? He tell me. And it was Wednesday. I tell him, today is Wednesday. Just go right there. Just climb up the stairs. And the person will put you like that on the road. And he tell me, okay, and he go in. He went.
Wow, incredible. Yes, I mean, that's where we are. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. And that's the reason why we are committed to making those changes. And we are, of course, appealing to the Dominican public. A great place to start is with the Rosa North by-election, which we are expecting within the next few weeks. And so we are appealing again to the Dominican public to give us that support. You have a team, like I said, of persons. It's not one individual, it's a team of people that we are putting together that can deliver for you. And so many areas, Claudius, we've not even had a chance to really go deep into the 10 pillars. So you absolutely have to come back for us to continue that conversation. It's important to get the message out there. I think people are listening, and really we need to begin to offer more hope to our people.
Definitely. What we have seen, and I believe every Dominican listening to me will agree, is that we came out of the hegemonial kind of setup in the colonial days, and we moved away from England and France, and we got our independence. And we saw over the last 25 years another move towards having another hegemony. We have signed one China deal with the Chinese, and they have taken over our local commercial market, and we have not been able to even create any products that we can send into their markets. And these are some of the movements we see happen in the last 25 years, and we are saying, hey, that hasn't taken us much in a progressive way. When we look at, as you rightly said, the state of our young people on the street, the number of young people that migrate every year, get out of this country to smaller countries, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, Antigua,
Sabre.
Something has gone wrong here with us, and I'm thinking is, and I believe 80% of the Dominican population will agree with me that we have gone wrong politically here, and we need to correct that, and we need to bring in people that will put country first. As I've said before, this current government at this later stage of the reign is busy managing their own affairs, the affairs of corruption, the affairs of their own personal setup, their own aggrandizement, their own enrichment, and they have rest aside the state, the business of the state. And that is what we see was happening. So the young men on the streets, one can almost conclude that is by design. Am I the only one seeing the state of the young men on the streets? Where the social departments, the social works department, where's the drug prevention unit and all these functionalities, departments of government that were back in the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s? Where are these departments? So we see a systematic degradation of our society, and we as a people need to rise above the patriotic political alignment and get to the business of the state and do it right by the people. And we cannot continue to feed the pockets of politicians that are all concerned about themselves. And that's what we see happen. Even talk about the rent for the prime minister. He said it was 2 years. It's going on 3-4 years. Nobody's talking about that.
A few $1 million later.
That is milking the country. Look at the cost of the port. The port is like the cash cow. It's draining out. There's only bones now left. People, the little businesses in Roseau, they're struggling. They've been squeezed. Every inch of blood is being squeezed out of the marrow. And how long can we continue that? So I'm saying we need to put our priorities right as a country, as a people. And the United Workers' Party is doing what it has to do to put a slate of good candidates together that are putting country before self. And in doing so, we are hoping that we can communicate to the people that we're ready to help rescue and save this country and move our country back to its true independence and stop being hegemony to any other foreign country that is just there to exploit and take away everything.
Absolutely. And we're coming to where you are. We are coming to you. We'll be in the Roseau North constituency tonight, 6:30, Tarish Pit. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock, we'll be in the Foncole area. And on Sunday at 6 o'clock, we will be in Woodfordale at Four Corner in Woodfordale with a public meeting. So we want you to come out there. And those of you that in the Wesley area, even as far, not far away, but just down the road to Calabishi, come to Woodfordale and listen to more of our plans. Of course, we'll be there in Roseau North. We'll be there with the candidate who is Danny Luge. And of course, in Wesley, we'll be there with Jean-Francois, who is our candidate for the Wesley constituency. And we have more meetings coming up in July that you'll be hearing about. But we are doing what we have to do. We're engaging the Dominican population, and we continue to seek the support of our people here in Dominica and overseas, support to the party financially. Let us do what we have to do to really take charge of this country and redeem ourselves. I mean, we have suffered under this government. I don't have to go into all of the problems that we have in this country, but it's an opportunity for us to make a change, an opportunity for us to bring our country back, and we're looking forward. Great expectations for that. All right, so Claudius, final words as we end there this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity again to share an economic lesson with the Dominican listening public. And I look forward to seeing many of you tonight in Roseau North. And we shall continue with our advocacy on the 10 pillars and educating the people as we move closer to the decision day. Thank you very much for having me, Dr. Fountain.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Claudius. And thank you, Dominica. We'll be back next week with more on Talk on the Block. Until then, enjoy the weekend. Take care of yourself. If you're driving, please don't drive. Just drive carefully and take care of each other. Okay, we'll talk to you next week. God bless. Bye-bye.
We carry the hope, we carry the pride. We work up ready, the youth standing tall, answer the rhythm, answer the call. We moving together, no turning back. The UWP is on the right track. Can you feel the energy? Can you feel the destiny? Dominica, let the world see. We fight for legacy. It's a blue way. People's choice, it's a blue way. Workers back their voice. Some born and leading the way. Victory is coming. It's a brand new day. You know what you feel. You know what you feel. We're talking about jobs, we're talking about growth. With the people of nature, and we make our own transparency and the helping hand to build a future across the land. No empty promises, no more fear. The change we wanted is finally here. From America down to Superior, the sound of the workers is everywhere. When I say team, you say blue. Team blue, team blue. When I say you say change. Change. Jump up! Hey, jump up! With the blue flag! Show them the power, show them the time. UWP the only star. It's a blue way. The people's choice, it's a blue way. Workers back their voice. Some symphony the way. Victory is coming, it's a brand new day. UWP. 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 Wave it here. Dominica. We When marché à la rue, when marché à la rue, depuis le temps de création, maintenant la révolution, marcher à la rue, tout allait chiffonner, pas jamais. On veut jouer comme un Sous l'espoir, moi qu'a pleuré, quelquefois, moi qu'a prié, à bon Dieu. À bon Dieu. Hold